Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I'm Kit and this is my world. And in this episode I'm going to be doing a tag, and this is a bit of a scary tag for me because it's the LGBTQIA plus tag, and that's a lot of letters, but also it is going to involve a certain amount of revealing myself to you in ways that I haven't done thus far. And I'm okay with that, but it's just a little bit new and a little bit daunting. I hope I do it justice. The tag is mercifully short, and it was created by Danika, Leigh, Ellis, no relation, and I was tagged by, the boy who cried books. He didn't tag me specifically, but he did say that if you're watching this and you want to do it, consider yourself tagged, and I wanted to do it, and so I consider myself tagged. And both of these channels, I'll put links in the description. So, moving right along, question number 1. How do you identify? I'm gay, and I'm very happy with that as a label per se, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Strictly speaking, technically, I'm bisexual because I like male and female persons, but I consider gay to be a label which covers all of the LGBTQ plus people. It's really, do you know what? Really, I would like it to just be the pride people rather than all these letters, because we keep adding more and more letters and it gets confusing and it's quite a mouthful, especially if you have difficulties with communication as I do. Let me try and explain what may seem like a contradiction in terms. This is my flag. This is the pride flag. I wave it with pride, and I consider this flag to be my main identifying symbol. I'm covered by this flag by the purple stripe. There. Purple is also my favourite colour. This is a flag that is supposed to encompass the whole of the non-heterosexual community. And it does, in my opinion. There are more modern versions which have additional stripes added which denote other things, but I like the simplicity and beauty of this flag. I genuinely love this flag, and this feels like the flag that represents me. I'm part of the LGBT, all the other letters, community. And really, that's all I need, because here's the thing. First and foremost, I'm a human being. I'm a person. That's how I identify. I'm an animal lover. That's how I identify. I'm an artist. That's how I identify. I'm a theatre geek. That's how I identify. There are many, many ways that I identify, because all of those things are ways that I actively participate and integrate and interact with other human beings. So it's relevant to identify as those things. My sexuality, who I'm attracted to sexually, is only relevant to me and my sexual partner. So unlike a lot of people in the LGBT community, I don't feel the need to constantly be waving my flag. I'm happy with who I am and who I identify as, but who I am required to identify as to society en masse isn't really so much to do with my sexuality as to do with all the other things that make me who I am. And to be really, really specific, I think my mental disabilities are much more important in terms of how I relate to humanity than who I like to bonk. The fact that I have Asperger's syndrome directly affects my communication and my interpersonal skills. It causes an enormous amount of anxiety, and it also causes me great difficulty with interacting with other human beings. So I identify as autistic or on the spectrum or high functioning because those are things that actually do affect the way I interact with you. Whether or not your genitalia appeals to me is neither here nor there, and I don't know because you haven't shown me it yet. Feel free to send me a picture if you want to. But anyway, so I'm a human being, I'm an animal lover, I'm an artist, I'm a theatre person, I'm a showbiz person, all of that stuff, and this is my flag if you're interested in what I'm into, but it's not really that relevant. However, if you want to get more specific than the general, all-encompassing, beautiful rainbow pride flag, then I do have another one. This is my flag that identifies me as bi. It's only bigger because it just came in a bigger size. It's not bigger because it represents a more important flag to me. It actually makes me think of raspberry sorbet. I like the colours, and as I say, purple is my favourite colour, so I like the fact that I'm represented by purple. This is the flag that identifies me as bi, and that's because, as I say, I like men and women, but mostly I like men, and mostly I prefer to just, for simplicity's sake, identify as gay. But it is nice to have more than one flag, I suppose. Question number 2. What are some of your favourite LGBTQIA+ books and authors? Well, this is a difficult question to answer because up until very recently, I didn't even know that this was a thing. I didn't know that you could choose to read a book because it was written by an author who happened to not be straight. I don't choose books because of who the author is, generally speaking. I choose a book because I want to read the content. I'm interested in what's inside the book. I want to read the story. I'm interested in the characters. I'm interested in the world. All that stuff, that's what I read for. Who wrote the book is really not relevant, except to the extent that if I really liked the book, then I might want to read more books by the same author because I like the way they write, or I like their characters, or I like their world. Who that author happens to be sexually attracted to doesn't seem relevant to me in the slightest, so I have never chosen a book because it was written by an author for any reason. So I've never read a book because the author was gay or bi or trans or any of those other things, just like I've never read a book specifically because the author was black or Jewish or disabled or any of those things. I read the book because I'm interested in the book, not the author. However, since doing BookTube, I'm becoming more and more aware of the whole representation thing and the whole need to support authors who are struggling a little bit more than the ones that are cis white males and have all the privilege that goes with that. So I'm kind of figuring out, this is all new territory for me, and I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't want to offend anyone. But at the same time, I'm a mood reader. I can't pick up a book and read it just because it has the right representation. I can only read that book if I'm actually going to get into it, if I'm going to enjoy it, if I'm going to love it. I need to hear the magic voice in my head that tells me we're in, and that voice is not guided by anything other than the content of the book. Question number 3. How often do you talk about LGBTQIA+ books on your channel, and what videos of yours would you recommend people start with if they're looking for LGBTQIA+ content? Again, this is a difficult question for me to answer. Up until this video, I haven't really discussed it at all. I pointed out my pride flag when I did my shelf tour, and I waved my pride flag on a more recent video, and I can't even remember what I was discussing in that video. But aside from those two minor references, I haven't really brought up any LGBT stuff at all yet on my channel. However, I do want my channel to be an inclusive channel. I want it to be a channel where people from the LGBT+ community can feel safe and welcome. I would like to invite anyone, if you're watching this and you're part of the Pride community, if you're a Pride person, a PP, actually no, not a PP, unless you're into PP. That's not a good couple of initials, is it? I didn't think that one through. If you're a Pride person, if you're a perfect Pride person, so you're a PPP, that's all right. If you're a perfect Pride person, please feel welcome to join this channel, to chat with me, make yourself known to me, and introduce me to a whole separate section of bookishness that has eluded me, not by choice, but just because it hasn't cropped up in my life. Although I will inevitably come up against this problem of being a mood reader, I would really like to broaden my horizons and experience more stuff. And in particular, I really want to read some fabulous, grown-up, graphic LGBT material. I want to read about gay relationships. I want to read about trans relationships. I'm fascinated by all of that stuff, and I do like a bit of smuttiness and a bit of steaminess and all of that stuff as well. And I've been enjoying the heterosexual depictions of it in the books that I've been reading thus far. So feel free to make suggestions, although I can't guarantee that I'll read any of them. My good friend Sam Dawson suggested Maurice to me. That's also been made into a film with Hugh Grant, which I haven't watched yet, and maybe I need to. I did download the book. I bought the book based on Sam's recommendation, and it should be right up my alley, but I was unable to get into it because I didn't immediately connect with the author's voice, and perhaps I wasn't in the right mood. But it's in my Kindle and I will try it again. I haven't given up on it yet, but I'm certainly open to suggestions, but obviously with the caveat that I have some issues, I have some mental issues that make it harder for me to get into a book than perhaps for you. Question number 4. Who are your favourite LGBTQIA plus booktubers? Do you know what? Most of the people from the Pride community that I watch on YouTube aren't actually booktubers, at least not ones that I can think of off the top of my head. But I can tell you my absolute favourite 3. These are YouTubers, not booktubers, but at the top of the list is Jammy Dodger. I'll leave a link in the description. Jammy Dodger is a super guy. I also love Powered by Rainbows. This is a beautiful channel. It's got all sorts of content. It's got educational, documentary, historical type content, and it's also got fun stuff, and it's got vloggy stuff, and there's some musical numbers. It's just a really nice rainbow coloured channel. I love it. Powered by Rainbows. There's another one as well. I can't remember the guy's name. The guy with beard and glasses. I'll put a thing. I will do some graphical type stuff. But this channel as well, he does. He makes serious documentary type stuff, historical documentaries. He seems to specialise in trawling through the history of American TV shows to show, the earliest examples of representation and where they succeeded and where they failed and that sort of thing. He tells very interesting historical stories about the history of LGBT plus stuff in society and in pop culture. So he does that, and he also does podcasts, and he does other vloggy type things as well. Oh God, I wish I could remember his name. Anyway, so I watch a lot of LGBT stuff on YouTube all the time. It makes me happy. Question number 5. Suggested by Jessie of Cup of Books. When was the first time you encountered an LGBTQIA plus character in fiction? Now, this is a really difficult one to answer for the simple reason that there have been many, and I can't remember which was the first one. Although I've never been conscious of representation being a thing, that doesn't mean that representation wasn't entering into my reading subconsciously. And to give an example, there's quite an early thing. Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. Now, that was a book which was made into a television series. It was about a lesbian relationship, and a friend of mine, Catherine Bradshaw, was in that. She was one of the 2 main characters. I adored Catherine. I worked with her in theatre. And so when I saw that she was in this thing, I checked it out, and it was marvellous, and that led me to the book. Question number 6. Anything else you want to add, and who do you tag? Well, the tagging part, I don't do tagging. For various reasons, I feel uncomfortable tagging people. So If you want to do this, consider yourself tagged, but I'm not going to tag anyone specifically. The first part of the question, anything else you want to add? My mind's a blank. I am what I am. I'm not going to sing. I so nearly burst into song then. I'm not going to burst into song, but I am going to leave it there. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope I haven't offended anyone. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have and you haven't already done this, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you next time. See you later.